Here we have the Lenovo IdeaCentre All-in-One 3. Now, the old Lenovo IdeaCentre 3 was, I think, one of our most popular videos. In fact, we had so many comments, views, and people asking us questions about the thing. We never really followed up on it though, but we figured better late than never. So this is the newest version, the 2021 version of the Lenovo IdeaCentre All-in-One 3. And today what we want to find out is if the king of the mid-level all-in-ones is still at the top of its throne. Let's get the specs out of the way. This one has the 5500U processor. It has Radeon Graphics. It has 16 gigabytes of RAM and a 512 gigabyte NVMe solid state drive. And this thing is screaming fast. I'll show a benchmark later on in the video, but suffice to say that this is one of the first products and few all-in-ones that we reviewed that you really could use this as kind of like an all-around machine. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to be able to play RDR2 or Grand Theft Auto on max settings or any of those AAA titles for that matter, but if you wanted to do some gaming on this thing, including some of those AAA titles, you could probably throttle back the settings maybe to like mediums type deal, and you could probably play them with fairly little issue. Between the graphics card, the processor, the RAM, all of that stuff working in conjunction, this thing is just an absolute powerhouse for productivity work. You could probably do some CAD stuff with it as well. Definitely do some compiling, some coding. You could do audio processing and video editing, with some exceptions, but I'll get into that momentarily as well. But all in all, this thing is just a very, very strong computer, spec'd out very, very well. But what we really want to find out though is if it's worth this 750 bucks, if all that power is worth the 750 bucks that you're paying for it. My opinion on that matter is simply that 750 bucks is a lot for a computer these days, and the rest of this machine is fairly bare bones, but this thing definitely has a place, and I think if you need a powerful all-in-one, this is definitely the place to start looking. The thing is that you can't really buy most things cheap these days anymore, so 750 bucks for kind of all that packaged power is definitely good bang for your buck. Let's go ahead and talk about the features first before we dive into like the screen and some other things. As far as features are concerned, the old one had a hard drive, basically an extra 2.5-inch slot to where you could place a conventional hard drive or a SATA hard drive of any kind, including solid state. This one, luckily, they brought over with that same thing. If you pop, there's a little door in the bottom. I don't know if I can get to it easily here, but there's like a little door in the bottom that if you pop it and you just pull it right down, you can fit a little drive in there. So if you wanted to put like, let's say a 2 terabyte, sorry, this is sloppy, isn't it? If you wanted to put a 2 terabyte hard drive in there, to use it as like a little video server or a Plex server or something like that, or if you just need extra storage for something, you'll have no issues doing that whatsoever. Other than that, it is a little bit on the bare bones side. It does have a webcam at the top, but it's not Windows Hello compatible. It does have Lenovo sort of baked in like facial recognition, but doesn't have obviously a fingerprint scanner or anything like that either. And the old model had a wireless charger on the base. No, this definitely has a place for you to put your phone, but it doesn't, it doesn't do anything. Doesn't charge the phone. It's just a little spot to put pens and your phone. But it's still a nice looking base. I guess I can't complain too much about it. And it does tilt up and down. It does not move up and down. It tilts back and forth. So for all those people wanting to sort of raise it up and down, that is not a very common feature. You will need to put like a book or something underneath it. But while we're on the subject of the screen, the LCD on this thing is very impressive. It is 24 inches, it's full high definition, it's bright, it's neutral, blacks are very black, whites are very white, colors and everything just sort of harmonizes very, very well. It's got decent viewing angles. It doesn't have a touchscreen. Personally, I don't really care for the touchscreens, but I know that there are people that have to have them, like them, and it's a deal breaker. So if that is something that is important to you, this one doesn't have it. But that said, the panel that they used in this thing is very, very good. And you know what? It does get fairly bright too. Maybe not as bright as like some of the Apple iMacs, but it gets bright enough where if you're, and it's matte, so if you're like sitting in front of a light source, a window, something like that, you'll really have no problem seeing this display. Lenovo, for the first fucking time ever practically, used a very, very good panel in this thing, and we were very, very impressed with the screen quality. The speakers, on the other hand, Harman Kardon. And you know, because they're boasting about the Harman Kardon speakers on it, that they're garbage. Speakers could do to be a little bit better. They get, you know, loud enough. They're just, you know, they're very lackluster. They don't really distort that bad. And again, they get loud enough, I suppose, but there is no character, no definition. They get okay in the highs, mids, they start teetering off, and then the bass is just non-existent. It's the speakers, they had to cut corners somewhere, right? And I don't care for the speakers. It does come with a wireless keyboard and mouse. I was afraid when I unboxed this puppy that it was gonna come with a USB wired mouse and keyboard, but it didn't. So I was very thankful that Lenovo decided to add that in. The webcam, it's kind of a nice little thing. It pops up here at the top. So it's got Lenovo has your privacy in mind. So if you're the type of person that likes to dance naked in their bedroom or wherever you have this computer, now you can just sort of recess it into the frame and you don't have to worry about it. However, the webcam quality is a little bit, I'll let you take a look at that footage yourself now. Here's an example of what to expect on the webcam on the Lenovo IdeaCentre All-in-One 3. And it's rated as a 5 megapixel camera. Truth be told, this is a little bit disappointing. Just a little bit disappointing. Yeah, not that impressive. But it definitely will get the job done if you're doing things like Skype, Zoom, any kind of office-related tasks. It will get the job done. It's just you're just not going to be able to film like a Hollywood Oscar-winning movie with it, is all. And as far as networking is concerned, it does have Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5 in there, so they did give you the latest and greatest in terms of that wireless technology. So yeah, they took a couple of things away from the original All-in-One 3, but you know, not a ton. I mean, I guess the only thing they took away was the wireless charging on the base. I mean, otherwise, what you're left with is just a good classic, you know, decent all-in-one, and frankly, the price is in line with what you expect to pay right now. Again, $750 does seem like a lot of money for an all-in-one, and if you asked me about this computer a year ago, I probably would have laughed in your face. But now with COVID pricing and pricing in general the way things are, it's frankly, it's probably not a bad package at all. Who is this computer for? Well, it's not a gaming computer, even though you can do some gaming with it. It's definitely not like a gaming enthusiast computer. It's probably for people like that have like an office or a business and they need just something with like a lot of oomph to get those Excel spreadsheets, Access, Word, PowerPoint, Outlook, have a ton of Chrome and Firefox tabs open. So it's definitely gonna be great for productivity. Again, if you're doing like some light level CAD work, I think it should be fine there. If you're editing some like 1080p, maybe some like 2K, very high compressed 4K stuff. I think you could probably even do that on this thing, no problem as well. Then of course, if you're doing some audio editing, it should be able to churn through most of that too. There is one glaring omission though. And this is a complaint that I have with a lot of modern computers that you know, are trying to, again, kind of cut costs, but I don't know if it's worth. I'm just gonna overlay the footage anyway. So on the back, it's the IO. If I was being unclear, it's the goddamn input and output on this thing that has me a little bit disappointed. Has two USB ports on them. They are non-super speed, which you know, come on guys. It's, you know, can't believe it's giving us that. You do have 10, 100, 1000 gigabit Ethernet. So screaming fast Ethernet. You then have two USB super speed ports, which, you know, two Lenovo, come on. Have an HDMI port, and then of course, where you plug it in, because for $750, you're not gonna get anything that runs on solar energy. But where I'm a little bit disappointed, of course, is that there's no USB-C. Why are manufacturers not putting USB? There's just no excuse for it. You gotta put USB-C on these computers, guys. I know you're trying to keep it on the cheaper side of things, but because there was no USB-C on this computer, that's why I have a slightly hard time saying that it's for like audio, video processors and stuff like that. USB-C is just now the gold standard for when you're plugging in either like storage devices where you need that very fast performing storage, externally, cameras, whatever it is, or for that matter, if you have like audio interfaces where you've got a ton of mics hooked up, a switch, whatever it is, you know, you want that USB-C to just have that good bandwidth. And of course, this computer omitted USB-C. So what you have really, in summary, is a very good quality, bare bones all-in-one. It's got some nifty, unique features such as a recessing camera and a extra slot for a 2.5-inch drive. But other than that, really what you just get is sort of like kind of raw power. And I think that is good for some people. Those just needing that basic stuff, they don't need frills and all these other things, will find a very, very happy place with this all-in-one on their desk. But for those that are looking to do some very crazy hardcore editing of any kind and they need that USB-C interface, obviously, it's no deal whatsoever. Do I recommend this computer? Yes, I think that I do. It should be pretty decent quality. You know, build and materials and everything on it is pretty, it's up to snuff. It looks good. It's thin, it's got a thin bezel, it's got a good profile. Here, I'll just sort of twist this over so you can see. You know, so it's nice and thin. It's thinner. It hasn't been getting into the Christmas cookies yet. So yeah, it looks good, and you know, I would recommend it. Just bear in mind, don't have that USB-C on there if that's something that you will miss later on down the road. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Please tell your friends so I can buy more Christmas cookies. And we will be back with another video really soon.